The research station floated silently above an uncharted planet at the very edge of known space. Its silver hull reflected the faint blue glow of the planet below, a silent witness to the emptiness of the cosmos around it. Inside, Dr. Lena Armitage moved quickly through the narrow corridors, her boots clanging softly against the metal floor. She carried a tablet filled with calculations, projections, and the endless theories she had devoted her life to. Her team followed her, a small group of scientists and engineers who shared her curiosity, but also shared her frustration. They were pioneers, standing at the frontier of knowledge, yet burdened by skepticism from the rest of the scientific community. Everyone outside the station called Lena's work impossible, fantasy, or simply just theory. But Lena knew better. "This is it," she said, stopping at the observation deck. Her eyes sparkled as she gestured toward the swirling clouds over the planet. "We are standing at the edge of what we thought was impossible. The anomaly isn't just theory anymore. It's real, and it's waiting for us to understand it." Jai, her assistant and closest friend, leaned against the railing. His dark hair fell into his eyes as he scanned the instruments. "I hope reality agrees with your optimism, Lena," he said with a faint smile. "So far it's been uncooperative," Lena laughed softly. "Reality always tests those who dare to dream, Jai. That's how progress begins." The anomaly they were studying was unusual, to say the least. It had first appeared in their data as a tiny, unexplained fluctuation in the planet's magnetic field. Over months they had traced it, measured it, and modeled it. Their calculations suggested that it could bend the basic rules of matter and energy, but no one outside their station believed it. Yet tonight, the anomaly was acting differently. The instruments flickered in subtle, strange patterns. Lights pulsed softly across the lab screens, synchronized with tiny changes in gravity sensors. The team exchanged nervous glances. "Do you see that?" whispered Mara, the station's physicist, pointing to a graph that seemed to shift without cause. "Yes," Lena replied. "It's responding, not randomly, intentionally. The question is, responding to what?" The room fell silent as each scientist stared at the screens, trying to make sense of the impossible. It felt almost alive, as if the anomaly were aware of them, observing, learning, and perhaps even communicating in a way they could not yet understand. Hours passed, and the anomaly's subtle movements became more pronounced. Small objects on the lab tables trembled, then shifted slightly in space, not violently but gently, as if nudged by an invisible hand. The team could hardly believe their eyes. This can't be real," muttered one of the engineers, his voice trembling. "It's at moving things." Without touching them, Lena stepped closer to the objects. "It's real," she said firmly. "We've been waiting for this moment for years. We just didn't know it would come like this." Jai shook his head. "I never thought I'd see the day when theory became fact." "It's surreal." For Lena, the feeling was exhilarating. She had spent countless nights poring over equations, running simulations, arguing with colleagues who called her ideas ridiculous, and now the universe was proving her right. The anomaly was no longer a possibility. It was a reality that demanded attention. The team decided to run a series of controlled tests. They set up sensors, cameras, and robotic probes, hoping to measure the anomaly's effects without interfering. Every move they made seemed to trigger a reaction. The lights flickered in harmony with their footsteps. Instruments hummed in synchrony with their words, and energy readings shifted just as they attempted new calculations. "This is like, it's aware," Mara whispered, eyes wide. "It's responding to us, to our presence. Maybe even to our thoughts," Lena nodded slowly. "It's as if reality itself is alive, Jai. As if it's observing us the way we observe it. And perhaps it's testing us." The hours stretched into days. Sleep became difficult. Meals were forgotten. The anomaly consumed their attention, but no one complained. Curiosity outweighed fatigue. They were standing on the threshold of discovery, and every moment was precious. One evening, as Lena adjusted a sensor near the observation window, a strange vibration ran through the station. It was subtle, almost imperceptible at first. Then objects nearby shifted slightly in midair, defying the pull of gravity. A pencil hovered for a brief second before falling gently to the floor. Jai knelt to pick it up, his hands trembling. "It's playful," he said softly. "Like it's aware of our attention and responding. Almost like it enjoys being observed." Lena's heart raced. Playful, yes. That's the right word. The anomaly isn't just a natural phenomenon. It has a consciousness of some kind, or at least a pattern of thought that we are beginning to recognize. As the team documented every movement, a pattern began to emerge. The anomaly seemed to respond more strongly to mathematical sequences and harmonic frequencies. When they played simple tones, the energy readings pulsed in perfect alignment. When they projected geometric shapes, the patterns on the screens echoed them. It was as if the anomaly understood and appreciated logic and beauty. The breakthrough left the team in awe. For the first time, they felt they were not merely observers but participants in a conversation with reality itself. "This changes everything," Mara whispered. "If it's responding to us, if it's intelligent, then we're standing at the edge of understanding something far beyond our current science." Lena smiled, feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. "Exactly, and this is why we exist, Jai. To explore the unknown, to challenge what others call impossible, and to find the truth hidden in the universe." But the anomaly had more surprises. A small probe designed to record environmental data suddenly disappeared from its platform. The team stared in disbelief as it reappeared in another section of the station, intact as if it had moved on its own. "It's bending space," said one engineer, his voice barely audible. "It's moving things instantaneously. How is this possible?" Lena shook her head. "We're witnessing the limits of human understanding. We don't have the words for this yet. All we can do is observe, document, and learn." Over the following days, the anomaly continued to display subtle signs of interaction. Instruments behaved differently in its presence. Gravity shifted slightly and light patterns danced across the walls. The station itself seemed alive, responding to the team's every action. Lena spent hours in the observation deck staring at the swirling clouds of the planet below. She thought about all the times she had been told her theories were impossible, all the nights she had struggled to prove that human understanding could stretch further than anyone imagined. And now, standing above the uncharted world, she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. "Jai," she said quietly, "we are the first to witness this. The universe has smiled at us and it's asking us to answer back." Jai looked out at the anomaly, his face illuminated by the soft glow of the instruments. "I never thought reality could be playful," he said. "I never imagined it could be so alive," Lena nodded. "We are only beginning. If we continue carefully, thoughtfully, we might learn to communicate with it, to understand the universe in ways no human has ever imagined." For the first time, the team truly believed in the impossible. What had been dismissed as theory was no longer a dream. It was reality, and it was waiting for them to step forward, to explore and to learn. Outside, the anomaly pulsed faintly in response, almost as if acknowledging their presence. The station, the planet, and the distant stars seemed to hum in harmony with it. The universe had indeed smiled, and for the first time humanity felt ready to smile back. The days that followed the first undeniable interaction with the anomaly were filled with a mix of wonder and tension. Lena's team had settled into a routine of observation, carefully noting every flicker of light, every shift in gravity, every tiny anomaly in the station's instruments. Yet the more they observed, the more the anomaly seemed to respond, almost as if it were learning about them, studying them, and even guiding them. Jai sat cross-legged on the floor of the observation deck, his tablet glowing with readings that made no sense at first glance. "Lena," he said, "look at this. The energy spikes, they're forming a pattern, almost like a heartbeat." Lena leaned over, her eyes scanning the graph. "It's repeating," she murmured, tracing the rhythm with her finger. "It's not random. It's conscious. It's trying to communicate with us in a way we can't yet understand." Mara, standing beside them, frowned. "Conscious? Are you saying it's intelligent?" "Yes," Lena replied, a note of excitement in her voice. "Or at least it reacts intelligently. Look at how the patterns change when we introduce different frequencies. It responds to sound, to light, to shapes. It recognizes our presence and reacts accordingly." The team spent hours conducting controlled experiments, each one designed to test whether the anomaly could respond to human input. They played simple harmonic tones through the station speakers, projected geometric patterns on the walls, and even tried to move objects in ways that might interest it. Every time the anomaly responded, but never the same way twice. One evening, As Lena adjusted a holographic projector to display a series of fractal patterns, the lights in the station dimmed slightly, then brightened in perfect synchronization with the shapes. Instruments that had been silent for days suddenly emitted low hums that resonated through the floor. "It's beautiful," Mara whispered, her eyes wide. "It's like it understands aesthetics, like it appreciates order and symmetry." Jai smiled, though his hands trembled slightly. "Or it's learning from us. Every action we take, every experiment we run, it adapts, it responds. We're not just observing anymore. We're part of its environment." Lena felt a shiver run down her spine. She had always dreamed of discovering something truly extraordinary, something that would expand humanity's understanding of reality. Yet experiencing it firsthand was far more overwhelming than she had ever imagined. As the anomaly's behavior became more noticeable, the station itself began to change in subtle ways. Gravity shifted in tiny increments. Lights flickered like distant stars, and objects occasionally hovered for a brief moment before returning to their original positions. At first, these changes were frightening, even disorienting. But gradually, the team began to see them as signs. A way the anomaly was showing them that reality was more flexible than they had ever believed. One morning, Lena entered the lab to find a small metallic cube hovering above a workbench. It had not been placed there, and no one had touched it. The cube rotated slowly, reflecting the soft glow of the instruments. Lena's heart pounded. "Look at this," she called, motioning for Jai and Mara to join her. "It's moving on its own. And look, the rotations aren't random. They follow a precise repeating pattern." Jai crouched beside the cube, examining it closely. "It's as if it's showing us something. A message maybe, or a code. We just don't have the key yet." Mara shook her head in disbelief. "I can't believe this is happening. We've crossed the line between theory and reality. This is beyond anything humanity has ever seen." Lena nodded, her mind racing. "And that's exactly why we have to keep observing, keep experimenting. If we can understand the pattern, maybe we can communicate with it, learn from it. Imagine what it could teach us about the universe." The team returned to their work, inspired and cautious in equal measure. Over the next few days, they discovered more subtle signs of the anomaly's intelligence. Sensors that had been silent for hours would suddenly activate when the team approached. Holographic displays would rearrange themselves into patterns that seemed to reflect the team's calculations. Even the station's artificial gravity responded slightly to their movements, as if acknowledging their presence. During one experiment, Lena noticed something extraordinary. She had projected a series of fractal spirals onto the observation deck walls, expecting only minor energy fluctuations in response. Instead, the spirals began to shift and expand, creating shapes that mirrored her own calculations before she had even finished them. "It's predicting our thoughts," she said, her voice trembling, or at least anticipating our actions. "Jai, this is incredible. It's not just responding, it's engaging with us." Jai stared at the display, awe written across his face. I don't know what to say. It's like we're looking into the mind of the universe itself." Mara stepped closer, her usual skepticism replaced by wonder. "Or maybe it's something more than the universe. Something alive in a way we can't fully understand yet." As the anomaly continued to reveal its nature, the team's bond grew stronger. They relied on each other's insights, debated interpretations of the patterns, and celebrated every small breakthrough. Yet there was also tension. Not everyone was comfortable with the idea that reality itself might have a conscious presence. Some feared it, some questioned their own sanity, and others worried about the unknown consequences of interacting with it. One evening, as Lena walked alone on the observation deck, she reflected on the journey that had brought them here. Years of research, calculations, debates, and sleepless nights had led to this moment. And now, standing above the uncharted planet, she felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. The anomaly pulsed softly beneath the planet's atmosphere, a faint rhythm that resonated through the station. Lena closed her eyes, listening to it. It was more than a physical phenomenon. It was a presence, a force, perhaps even a guide. And for the first time, she felt as though she could sense its intentions. The next day brought a new level of interaction. A small probe, sent to measure the anomaly's energy, disappeared mid-flight and reappeared near the observation deck, perfectly intact. The team watched in stunned silence as it hovered for a few seconds, then slowly rotated in the air before landing gently on a table. "It's learning," Mara whispered. Learning from us, observing us, and interacting with the tools we use. Lena nodded, her eyes never leaving the probe. It's inviting us to take the next step, to communicate in a more direct way. We're not just observing reality anymore, we're participating in it. Over the following days, the anomaly's responses became increasingly intentional. It created intricate light patterns across the walls, almost like writing. Instruments displayed sequences of numbers and symbols that seemed to correspond to the team's calculations. Gravity shifted subtly in areas where the team conducted experiments, and energy readings pulsed in time with the team's movements. It was clear, the anomaly was no longer passive. It was aware, engaged, and perhaps even curious about the humans studying it. One night, Lena stayed behind on the observation deck, gazing at the planet below. The anomaly pulsed in the atmosphere like a heartbeat, and the station seemed to hum with a quiet energy. She felt a strange connection, as if the anomaly were aware of her thoughts, responding not just to actions but to intent. "Jai," she whispered into the comm link, though she knew he was asleep. "We're at the beginning of something extraordinary. What we once called theory is now reality, and it's inviting us to understand it." The anomaly pulsed brighter as if acknowledging her words. Lena smiled, her heart racing with excitement. Humanity had reached a point where observation alone was no longer enough. They were being asked to interact, to learn, and to discover the deeper truths of the universe. The station, the planet, and the anomaly itself seemed to resonate together, creating a sense of harmony that filled the team with awe. The universe had revealed a small glimpse of its greater complexity, and humanity was finally able to witness it. As Lena watched the anomaly pulse beneath the clouds, she felt a profound sense of hope. The impossible had become real. The unthinkable had become observable. And for the first time, humanity had a chance to step into a larger role in the cosmos, not as mere witnesses, but as participants. Somewhere deep in the energy patterns, Lena sensed a kind of invitation. A challenge. An opportunity. The anomaly was not only responding to them, it was asking them to understand, to communicate, and perhaps to grow. And for Lena, for Jai, for Mara, and the rest of the team, the adventure was just beginning. The universe had opened a door, and reality itself was waiting for them to step through. The anomaly had shifted from subtle gestures to deliberate actions. It no longer merely responded to experiments, it seemed to initiate interactions of its own. Lena's team had noticed it in the smallest details. A light that pulsed before they projected a pattern, a sensor that activated just before an experiment began, and objects that rearranged themselves to form symbols or sequences. "Lena, look at this," Jai called from the observation deck one morning. His voice carried both awe and disbelief. Holographic displays had begun forming complex geometric patterns on their own, each more intricate than anything the team had projected. Lena hurried over, her eyes widening as she observed the displays. These are messages," she whispered. "Or at least an attempt at communication. The anomaly isn't just reacting, it's trying to reach us." Mara stood beside them, her usual skepticism replaced by wonder. "But how? How can reality itself communicate?" Lena shook her head slowly. "I don't know, but we have to try to respond. We have to speak in the language it understands. Mathematics, patterns, and harmonics. That's the only way we can begin to communicate." The team worked tirelessly for hours, designing simple messages using harmonic tones, repeating sequences of light pulses and geometric shapes projected on the walls. Each message was sent carefully, tested, and observed as if they were sending signals into the mind of the universe itself. At first, the anomaly's responses were small. A light would flicker in a new pattern. A sensor would vibrate or an object would shift slightly. But soon the responses became more pronounced. Shapes rearranged themselves to mirror the team's projections, and energy readings pulsed in perfect synchrony with their messages. "This is incredible," Mara whispered, barely able to contain her excitement. "It's responding. Intelligently, not just randomly, it's listening." Then came the breakthrough. Lena had projected a series of fractals designed to test whether the anomaly could understand a sequence of cause and effect. She watched as the shapes slowly shifted on their own, aligning perfectly with the sequence she had intended, and then expanding into a new form she had never projected before. It's creating, Lena said, her voice trembling. It's not just responding, it's thinking in its own way. It's sharing knowledge with us. Jai stared at the display, his face lit by the glowing patterns. I can't believe this. It's like the anomaly has a mind, and it wants us to see it. The station itself seemed to join the interaction. Lights pulsed along the walls, humming in harmony with the anomaly's energy. Gravity shifted subtly beneath their feet. Objects floated briefly, and energy readings displayed sequences that almost resembled numbers, messages, perhaps waiting for them to decipher. Over the next few days, the anomaly's messages became more intricate. It seemed to anticipate their experiments, guiding their projections and forming patterns that hinted at knowledge far beyond human understanding. The team realized that they were not just observing a phenomenon. They were engaged in a dialogue with something vast, intelligent and extraordinary. Then one morning, a small, spherical probe sent to map the anomaly's energy field disappeared from its launch platform. Panic swept through the lab. But before anyone could react, the probe reappeared near the observation deck. It hovered in midair, rotating slowly as symbols of light traced across its surface. Look, Mara whispered, pointing. It's showing us something. A message or a map. I don't know which. Lena stepped closer, examining the symbols. These aren't random, she said. They're structured, mathematical, logical. The anomaly is giving us information, something it wants us to understand. Jai reached out to touch the probe, but Lena held up her hand. No, she said gently. We observe first. Interpret first. We must respect whatever this is. It's far beyond anything we've ever encountered. As they watched, the probe released a faint pulse of energy that resonated through the station. In that instant, Lena felt something she could not explain. A rush of images, sensations, and knowledge that were not her own. She saw flashes of distant stars, complex energy fields, and patterns that seemed to underlie the very fabric of the universe. What was that? Jai asked, his voice trembling. Lena shook her head slowly, overwhelmed. It's giving us a glimpse of its understanding. A vision. A way of sharing knowledge that isn't verbal, not even written. It's teaching us. Mara took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. But what does it want from us?
Why choose us?
Lena looked out at the planet below, her mind racing. I think it's testing us. Not in a harmful way, but to see if we are ready. Ready to understand, to communicate, and perhaps to grow beyond our current limitations. The anomaly's interactions grew more personal. Lights traced the contours of the station in response to their movements, and energy fields pulsed in harmony with their emotions. It was as if the anomaly could sense not only their actions, but also their intent and curiosity. One evening, Lena projected a complex sequence of numbers designed to test the anomaly's ability to predict outcomes. As she watched, the numbers rearranged themselves, forming patterns that anticipated the next steps in her calculations. The anomaly was not just intelligent, it was adaptive, able to learn and respond faster than any human could. It's like, it knows us, Jai whispered. It understands how we think, what we expect, and it responds before we even finish our experiments. Lena nodded, feeling a mixture of awe and responsibility. Exactly. And that's why we have to be careful. We must approach this with respect, patience, and clarity. This isn't just a scientific discovery. It's a dialogue with reality itself. Then came the moment that changed everything. A large holographic display projected a series of intricate shapes that none of them had created. The shapes rotated, expanded, and converged into a pattern that looked almost like a doorway. The anomaly's energy pulsed in waves, filling the room with a sense of presence and intention. It's inviting us, Mara whispered, her voice barely audible. It wants us to go further, to explore, to understand. Jai's eyes widened. Do you think it's safe? We don't know what's waiting out there. Lena stepped closer to the display, her heart racing. I don't know if it's safe. But I do know this, it's giving us a chance that no human has ever had before. And we have to take it. Carefully, thoughtfully, but we have to take it. The anomaly continued to respond in ways that were increasingly precise. Symbols, lights, and energy pulses formed sequences that seemed to guide the team's calculations. It was as if it were teaching them a new way of thinking, a new language that combined mathematics, patterns, and consciousness. One night, Lena remained alone on the observation deck, gazing at the glowing anomaly in the planet's atmosphere. The patterns of light shifted, forming intricate symbols that pulsed with a rhythm almost like a heartbeat. Lena felt a strange connection, as if the anomaly were aware of her thoughts, responding not only to her actions but to her intent. "Can you hear me?" she whispered softly, though no sound came back. Yet in that moment she felt a reply, not in words but in understanding. The anomaly was patient, aware, and perhaps even kind. It was inviting them to learn, not to fear. The next morning, the team gathered to review their observations. Every display, every energy reading, every subtle shift in the station confirmed the same conclusion. The anomaly was intelligent, aware, and attempting to communicate. "This changes everything," Mara said, her voice filled with wonder. "It's not just a phenomenon anymore. It's something alive, something we can interact with." Jai nodded slowly. "We've crossed the line from observation to engagement, from theory to reality, and I don't think we'll ever see the universe the same way again." Lena smiled, feeling a deep sense of purpose. "Exactly. And the best part is, this is only the beginning. If we can understand it, learn from it, and communicate clearly, we might unlock knowledge that humanity has never dreamed of. We might discover what lies beyond the limits of reality itself." The anomaly pulsed softly beneath the clouds of the planet, a faint rhythm that resonated through the station. Lena and her team felt it like a gentle heartbeat, a signal of awareness and intention. For the first time, they realized that reality itself was not a passive stage, it was a participant. And humanity had been invited to take part in its grandest experiment. The universe had spoken. And for the first time, humans had heard it. The day had finally arrived. After weeks of observation, calculations, and countless experiments, Lena's team prepared for the descent to the planet below. The anomaly had guided them through its messages, its pulses of energy, and the shifting patterns it displayed in the station. Now it was time to see the source of its presence firsthand. The descent module was small but sturdy, designed for exploration and safety. Lena, Jai, Mara, and 2 engineers, Rena and Saul, secured themselves inside, their hearts racing with anticipation. Outside the viewport, the planet stretched beneath them like a living jewel. Clouds of vibrant colors swirled above mountains that seemed to float in the air. Rivers glimmered with liquid light, and the horizon shimmered as if reality itself were bending. "This is beyond anything I imagined," Jai whispered, his voice filled with awe. "It's like the planet itself is alive." Lena nodded, her eyes fixed on the swirling clouds. "It's beautiful, yes, but we must stay focused. The anomaly brought us here for a reason. We are not just observers, we are participants, and we must learn what it wants us to understand." The module pierced the upper atmosphere, and gravity shifted subtly as they descended. The surface of the planet seemed to stretch and ripple beneath them, almost as if welcoming their arrival. Strange lights danced across the landscape, responding to their movement, forming patterns that resembled the symbols the anomaly had displayed in the station. As they landed softly on a floating plateau, the team stepped out cautiously. The air was breathable, surprisingly fresh, and tinged with a faint luminescence that seemed to emanate from the planet itself. The ground beneath their feet pulsed lightly as if sensing their presence. "Look at that," Rena whispered, pointing to a grove of glowing plants. They respond to us. Look how they bend toward our movement like they know we're here." Mara knelt to examine a small rock, only to see it levitate briefly before settling gently back onto the ground. "Everything here, it's alive in some way. The anomaly shaped this world, or at least it interacts with it. Reality is flexible." Lena's gaze moved across the plateau. "We must be careful. We don't fully understand the rules yet. One wrong step could disrupt the balance the anomaly has created." The team followed a path that seemed to guide itself, leading them toward a structure in the distance. It was unlike anything they had seen before. A combination of natural formations and geometric patterns, glowing with a soft light. The shapes were elegant, symmetrical, and impossible to classify. They seemed to respond to the team's thoughts, subtly shifting as they approached. "Do you think the anomaly built this?" Jai asked, his voice a mixture of curiosity and fear. Lena shook her head. "I don't think it built it like we build things. I think it shaped it. It manipulated reality here in response to us, or perhaps in response to its own existence. Everything we see is alive, aware, and connected." As they drew closer, the anomaly's energy pulsed more strongly. Lena felt a subtle vibration beneath her feet, a rhythm that seemed almost like a heartbeat. She reached out instinctively and the air shimmered around her hand, responding to her presence. "This is incredible," Mara whispered. "I've read about theoretical worlds shaped by energy fields, but nothing could prepare me for this. It's as if the planet itself is conscious." Rena pointed to the horizon. "Look, the mountains, they're floating, and see how the rivers curve in ways that defy gravity. It's alive, like the entire world is a single organism." The team approached the central structure, which now loomed larger before them. It seemed to be made of light and energy, yet it had solid form, and its surface displayed the same symbols and patterns they had seen from the station. The anomaly's presence was stronger here, almost tangible. "This is it," Lena said softly. "The source. We've come to the heart of its influence. We must observe carefully and learn. Nothing more, nothing less." As they stepped closer, the structure responded to their thoughts. Lights pulsed along its surface, shifting colors to match their emotions. Patterns formed and dissolved, revealing glimpses of knowledge the team could not yet fully comprehend. "It's showing us something," Jai said. "I don't know what it is yet, but it's trying to communicate. Just like at the station, only stronger." Lena nodded. "We must focus. Let's see if we can understand its language here, in its own environment. The anomaly is guiding us, teaching us. It's testing whether we can adapt to its reality." Hours passed as the team observed and interacted with the structure. The anomaly responded to every experiment, every movement, every thought they projected. It seemed to anticipate their questions, provide answers through energy patterns, and expand their understanding of space, time, and matter. "This is more than intelligence," Mara said finally, her voice filled with awe. "It's like something beyond life as we know it. It's aware of us, but also aware of itself. And it's teaching us, guiding us." Rena shivered. "I feel watched, but not in a threatening way, more like it cares if we understand." Lena smiled faintly, feeling a deep connection with the anomaly. "Exactly. It wants us to learn, to grow, and perhaps to become part of something larger. This is what science has always hoped to find, the bridge between knowledge and reality itself." Then, as they explored further, the anomaly's influence became more dramatic. Entire sections of the plateau shifted subtly as if the ground itself were alive. Trees bent in unison, light flowed along paths that were not previously visible, and gravity shifted slightly beneath their feet. The world responded to them, reactive, intelligent, and alive. "It's like walking through a dream," Jai said, his voice trembling. "Every step changes something and the world changes back." "It's alive," Mara frowned. "But how do we know we're interpreting it correctly? What if it's testing us in ways we don't understand?" Lena placed a hand on Mara's shoulder. "We approach with respect. We observe, we learn, and we respond thoughtfully. That's all we can do. We can't control it, but we can participate. And that's what it wants from us." As evening approached, the anomaly's light intensified. Patterns danced across the sky, forming shapes that resembled constellations, mathematical sequences, and even forms that looked almost like living beings. Lena felt a surge of understanding, a sense that the anomaly was not merely showing knowledge. It was sharing perspective, revealing the beauty and complexity of existence itself. "It's showing us the universe through its eyes," Mara whispered. "Everything we thought we knew. It's bigger, stranger, more connected than we imagined." Jai nodded. "It's inviting us to think differently, to perceive differently, to grow." The team sat quietly, absorbing the experience. The world pulsed around them, alive with energy, aware of their presence. They were no longer just scientists observing a phenomenon. They were participants in a larger reality, part of a dialogue that transcended words, instruments, and even thought itself. Lena looked at her team, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the anomaly. "This is why we came here. This is why we studied, experimented, and persevered. Reality itself has revealed a new layer, and it's inviting us to explore it responsibly." Suddenly, the central structure emitted a wave of energy that washed over the team. In that instant, each of them felt a rush of understanding. Not full knowledge, but glimpses of connections between energy, matter, and consciousness. Memories of stars, patterns, and civilizations seemed to flow into their minds. They saw possibilities not just for understanding the anomaly, but for humanity itself. "It's showing us potential," Lena said softly. "Potential for knowledge, for exploration, for growth. It's not just a phenomenon. It's a teacher. Rena looked around, eyes wide. But can we handle it? All this knowledge, all this understanding. It's overwhelming. Lena took a deep breath. We take it one step at a time. We learn what we can, respect the limits of our understanding, and trust that the anomaly is guiding us wisely. That's the only way forward. As night fell, the anomaly's light continued to shimmer across the plateau. Stars reflected in rivers of glowing energy. Mountains floated gently above the surface, and the world itself seemed to breathe. Lena and her team sat quietly, feeling both humbled and exhilarated. They had crossed the boundary between observation and participation. They had entered a world where reality itself was alive, aware, and responsive, and they understood, in the deepest part of themselves, that this experience would forever change the way humanity saw the universe. The anomaly pulsed softly, as if acknowledging their understanding. Lena smiled faintly, feeling a profound sense of connection. They had stepped into its world, and it had welcomed them, not as intruders, but as students. And above the shimmering plateau, the universe seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what humanity would do next. The anomaly pulsed gently beneath the alien skies, and Lena's team stood together on the glowing plateau, their hearts racing with a mixture of awe, fear, and anticipation. After days of observation, experiments, and cautious interaction, the anomaly had revealed more than they could have imagined. It was intelligent, aware, and actively engaging them. But now it seemed ready to go further, inviting them to a deeper understanding of its purpose. Lena took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of energy beneath her feet. "This is the moment we've been preparing for," she said softly. "We have to trust what we've learned so far, trust ourselves, and step forward carefully. The anomaly isn't here to harm us, it's here to teach us if we are ready." Jai nodded, eyes wide as he scanned the surroundings. "Every time we interact with it, reality changes just a little. I can feel it responding to us, not just our actions, but our intentions. We're part of it now." Mara stepped closer, placing a hand on the surface of the glowing plateau. "It's alive in ways I never imagined. I thought intelligence needed a body or a brain. But this is something entirely different. It's pure awareness shaping reality around it." Lena smiled faintly. "And it's inviting us to understand. That's the key. To learn, to connect, and to grow. That's what it wants from humanity." The anomaly's pulse intensified. Symbols and patterns began to emerge in the air above the plateau, floating in intricate sequences that defied gravity. They shifted and rotated, forming shapes that seemed to hint at knowledge far beyond anything humans had conceived. Lena realized that these were not just abstract designs, they were messages, insights, and guidance. "It's giving us a map," Jai said, pointing to the patterns. "Not a map of this planet, but of reality itself. How energy, matter, and consciousness interact. It's showing us possibilities." Lena nodded, feeling a surge of understanding. "It's revealing the layers of reality, the connections between things we thought were separate. Space, time, energy, and life, they're all part of a larger whole. And it's letting us see how to navigate it." The team followed the sequences carefully, projecting their own symbols and responses. The anomaly adjusted, harmonized, and expanded the patterns, creating a dialogue that transcended words. Each pulse of energy, each shift in light conveyed understanding and encouragement. The team felt a growing connection, not just with the anomaly, but with each other and with the universe itself. Hours passed, yet time seemed to stretch and fold in unusual ways. Lena noticed that their own perceptions were subtly influenced by the anomaly's presence. Thoughts became clearer, intuition sharper, and understanding deeper. It was as if the anomaly amplified the best parts of their minds, helping them perceive truths they could never reach alone. "It's enhancing us," Mara whispered. "Not physically, but mentally. I can feel my understanding expanding, almost like I can see patterns I never noticed before." Jai nodded. "And emotionally, too. I feel connected, not just to it, but to everything. The planet, the station, even the stars. It's showing us how reality is intertwined." Lena smiled faintly, her heart filled with awe. "This is why it chose us. Humanity has potential, creativity, curiosity, empathy. The anomaly sees that. It's testing us, guiding us, and preparing us for knowledge that can shape our future." Suddenly, the patterns in the air shifted again, forming a massive glowing arch. It pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Lena felt an intuitive understanding. This was an invitation. Not merely to observe, but to step through, to engage fully with the anomaly's world and learn what it had to offer. Do we go through? Jai asked, uncertainty in his voice. Lena looked at the team, then at the glowing arch. Yes, she said firmly. We've come this far. This is what we were meant to do. Carefully, thoughtfully, we stepped forward together. One by one, they approached the arch. As they passed through, Lena felt a wave of energy wash over her. It was not overwhelming, but profound, filling her mind with visions, knowledge, and understanding that transcended language. She saw threads connecting energy, matter, and life across the universe, threads that humans could now perceive for the first time. It's showing us the connections, Mara whispered, her voice trembling. All life, all energy, all matter, it's all part of a pattern, a larger design. Jai gasped. And we're part of it. Humans, we're included. The anomaly isn't separate from us, it's inviting us to participate. Lena nodded. Exactly. And that's the most important lesson. Humanity is not just an observer in the universe. We have the capacity to understand, to create, to shape reality responsibly. And this anomaly, it's a teacher showing us how. The visions continued, revealing insights about energy manipulation, harmony between life and environment, and the potential of consciousness to interact with the very fabric of reality. It was overwhelming yet exhilarating. The team could feel their minds expanding, their understanding deepening, and their appreciation for the universe growing stronger. This could change everything, Jai said softly. Our understanding of physics, of life, of ourselves. It's only the beginning, Lena smiled. And it will take time. We cannot fully grasp it all at once. But we can learn step by step as the anomaly guides us. That's why it revealed itself slowly, patiently through patterns, symbols, and interactions. It trusts us to grow with it. After what felt like hours, the energy pattern softened and the glowing arch dimmed slightly. The anomaly seemed to be giving them space to absorb what they had experienced. Lena looked around at her team. Each of them was changed, not in body but in mind and spirit. They had glimpsed truths that could transform humanity, and they understood the responsibility that came with it. We have to be careful, Mara said. This knowledge, it's incredible. But if used recklessly, it could be dangerous, Lena nodded. Exactly. That's why we proceed thoughtfully. We document, we learn, and we share responsibly. The anomaly gave us this opportunity because it saw potential, not recklessness. We must honor that trust. The team spent the following days exploring the plateau and interacting further with the anomaly. Each experiment, each observation, strengthened their understanding. They realized that the anomaly did not simply manipulate reality for its own sake. It amplified potential. It helped the intelligent beings it interacted with to expand their minds, deepen their understanding, and see possibilities beyond their previous limits. It's what humanity has always sought, Lena said quietly one evening. A way to grow, to learn, to become more than we were before. And now we have it. The anomaly has smiled on us, not because we demanded it, but because we were ready. Jai nodded, a smile lighting up his face. It's beautiful. To think that reality itself can be alive, aware, and generous. That it can teach, guide, and elevate us. I never imagined this was possible. Mara laughed softly. I admit I was skeptical at first. But now I understand.
It's not just theory anymore.
Reality itself has shown us what is possible, and it has invited us to participate. Lena looked at the anomaly pulsing gently across the plateau, a rhythm that seemed to harmonize with their own hearts. We've crossed the boundary between theory and reality, she said. We've seen the universe not just as observers, but as participants. And humanity's story has forever changed. The anomaly's light began to fade gradually, retreating into the atmosphere above the planet. It seemed to be leaving, but not in disappearance, rather, as if it had completed this stage of teaching. The team felt a sense of gratitude, wonder, and hope. They had been given a glimpse of knowledge, potential, and connection that no human had ever experienced before. We have to return to the station, Lena said softly, and then we share what we can. Responsibly, thoughtfully. The universe has shown us a possibility, and it's our duty to honor it. Jai nodded. We've been changed forever, and I think humanity is ready to take the next step because of this. Mara smiled faintly. The impossible has become reality. What was theory is now truth, and we are part of it. As they ascended in their module, leaving the glowing plateau behind, Lena gazed at the stars stretching endlessly across the sky. For the first time, she felt a profound sense of harmony with the universe. Reality had smiled at them, revealing its beauty, intelligence, and generosity. And humanity had been invited to join the dance, to learn and to grow. The anomaly had taught them one final lesson. The universe is alive, aware, and full of possibilities. And those who approach it with curiosity, courage, and respect can see wonders beyond imagination. And perhaps one day, even contribute to shaping reality itself. Lena smiled faintly, her heart full. This is only the beginning. The universe has many secrets, many truths, and we are ready to meet them. Outside the module, the planet glimmered beneath them, alive, aware, and serene. The anomaly pulsed once more, a gentle signal of acknowledgement and farewell. And in that moment, Lena knew that humanity's journey had truly begun. The impossible was no longer impossible. Theory had become reality, and the universe had smiled.